Hello and welcome if you're new to my channel, and if you're a subscriber, a warm welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be talking about edge coating. It's a technique I first spoke about when I was comparing the Louis Vuitton Capucine to the Christian Dior bag Lady Dior. It's a technique that's used to protect the edges of a bag, and there are two ways to protect them. Either edge coating, you coat the edges, or you turn the edges. A few months ago, I also released a video where I was talking about the three key variables that you need to consider when choosing a bag: quality, craftsmanship, and the hardware. All three need to come together at a very high level in order to ensure a good bag. Edge coating, your turned edges, very much come under the realm of craftsmanship, and they come into play and play a significant role when it comes to the long-term wear and tear of the bag, particularly if you've got them right. I'm going to be using 4 brands to talk you through edge coating and turned edges and what you need to consider when choosing a bag. I'm Anesu Sagonda, and I produce educational luxury content for anyone after the finer things, whether you're young and starting out in life and wanting to reap the benefits of buying quality from the get-go, or you're into luxury but you want to focus more on quality under the radar brands, or you're new to money and wanting to learn how to navigate the terrain, then my content is very much geared towards you. The majority of handbag brands use edge coating to protect their edges. You will get some brands that will also incorporate the turned edges, and they'll have maybe 1 or 2 or a few ranges using the turned edges. But I don't actually know of a brand that uses turned edges exclusively to protect their edges. If there are any brands you know of, please do let me know in the comments down below. I'd be interested to find out. What constitutes good edge coating? Well, it's down to the actual coating. What is the mixture you've used? What are the products? And the technique that's been used to apply the coating. I've got about 4 or 5 examples, as I mentioned earlier. And I have examples spread across all the levels of luxury. I'm going to attach above a video where I talk in detail about the different levels of luxury. And as you know, as you go up the levels of luxury, so does the quality. And quality is the quality of the materials used and also the craftsmanship. It becomes a lot more sophisticated, it's better, and they use techniques that ensure the bag is made to a very high standard, and typically the wear and tear is good, but not on all brands. The examples, as I mentioned, will be across all levels of luxury. So I can just give you an idea of what it is, what to look for, what to consider across the different brands as you look or choose handbags. I first spoke about Brandon Blackwood in my elegant work handbags video, which I'm going to attach above. And Brandon Blackwood is your everyday luxury. So those are your bags that are priced from £500 and below. A consumer who's typically buying an everyday luxury bag is very much focused on price first and foremost. Typically, brands that are creating bags for this segment are very much focused, as you can imagine, not on your exceptional craftsmanship, your exquisite materials. Their focus is very much on a mass-made products, and they're very much your cheap, cheerful, fit-for-purpose products. There's nothing overly sophisticated about them. As I mentioned in the video, I like Brandon Blackwood for your entry level, for your everyday luxury, because the leather's good, but it's vegan leather, remember. It's robust, and it's going to be something you can use until you've worn it to death and you can discard it. You'll get your money's worth. As I mentioned in my hierarchy of handbag series, when I was talking specifically about Stella McCartney, she uses vegan leather. When it comes to vegan leather, no matter how well made it is, it's never going to be as good as leather in terms of just the wear and tear and also the look, the feel of it. Coming back to Brandon, I love the leather. When you look at specifically the edge coating, this is where you notice, okay, this is entry level. It's a mass-made product applied by machine. There isn't going to be the attention to detail, the quality of the coating. It's plastic, the way it's been applied. It's not necessarily consistent. Look at the edges. But what's really telling is when you look at the corners, this isn't even a bag I've bought myself. I took the visuals in a store. If you look at the corners, they're already worn. The colors already started to fade. So it says a lot about the quality of the materials, the dye that's been used, for example. And even when you look at the application, it's not consistent all around. You look at the corners and then you look at the gap where there's a bit of white and there's the color. They've missed the coating on that edge. And then you also look at another detail, the design detail. You flip it up and you can see they haven't put any coating. And you can also pick up straight away that the color of the bag has been achieved by being painted on as opposed to a dyed leather. I'm going to talk about the color of bags and how it's achieved as the fifth variable in a later video. But there isn't any coating around the edge. It's almost like out of sight, out of mind. That section's not coated. They don't care too much about it. It's not a bag that's been made for long-term use as in a bag for life, but it's just something that you use, you enjoy, and then you discard. Moving up to the next level, I'm going to miss out affordable, which is typically 500 to about 950, 1,000. And I'm going to go up to accessible core, which is typically your bags priced from 1,000 through to about 1,500 pounds. And there's a fantastic example. With accessible core, it starts being about the quality first and foremost before the price is being considered in this segment for both the person who's buying from this segment and also brands creating bags for this segment. The bag I'd like to recommend, the brand is Acne, that I also spoke about in the same video. I really like Acne because it's a brand that's giving you a lot of value for your money. I love the leather. It's a smooth calfskin. And when you compare it to other calfskins in the market, it's one of the more robust in that it doesn't scuff as easily. Examples that immediately come to mind are actually the level above in your premium core. Think of Celine, for example, with their natural leather, the Barenia. Throw in their bag I've recently spoken about, Laurent, the Cessia, for example. And even Metier with the Perrion and specifically the smooth calfskin. The Acne Masubi is actually a lot more robust than all those three smooth calfskins I've mentioned. I really like this bag, as I said, for the leather, but the coating is exemplary. If you're ever in London, around the big luxury department stores, think of Liberties, Harrods, Selfridges, they all have Acne concessions. Please go and take a look at the Masubi bag because it's exemplary when it comes to the coating. It's incredibly thin. It's a very soft, malleable plastic that they put on top. And as I mentioned when I first spoke about this whole concept of edge coating, is that when you have a leather that's quite soft and it moves quite a bit, you'll find that works against the edge coating. You need something that's able to stay in place, and they've got a coating that's very thin and it stays in place. It's durable, it's robust. It's something that I've never heard anybody talk about it peeling. You literally need to take something sharp or actually do something physical to the bag or even scrape it for that edge coating to come off. It's exemplary. And if you're going to look for a bag, look for coating that's that thin. And when you touch it, especially if it's a bag that has a lot of movement like this one, it is still soft and not too hard because it can then crack or peel off. My next example, moving up to the next level of luxury, is your premium core. And I have two very different examples. Premium core, very much about the quality, and it's your bags that are typically priced from about 1,500 through to about 3,000 pounds. First example is Saint Laurent, and Saint Laurent uses the turned edges and also edge coating within the brand. It just depends on the range, but I'm going to be focused solely on the turned edges, and it's used on the Lulu bag, specifically lambskin. Lambskin, as you know, is buttery soft to the touch, but it's also an incredibly delicate leather. Scuffs very easily. It's not the most robust with the very best long-term wear and tear, especially compared to your calf skin. But looking specifically at the Lulu, for me, it's not the best leather to use. And also the technique in which the way it has been sewn, especially when you compare it to, for example, the Christian Dior, Lady Dior, where they use the lambskin, they also use the calf skin. The way they have done it and the reinforcement means the leather doesn't split. With the Saint Laurent, the leather is already splitting. That to me is a big warning sign. I wouldn't even consider the bag because of this, because the lambskin, the way it has been stitched, and the pressure points, the corners of the bag, and also the front where you're opening and closing. If it's a bag you're using every day, you're going to be putting pressure on that. Long-term wear and tear for me, alarm bells are ringing that the leather is going to split. You're going to get a lot of problems around that section, and you need to be mindful of the leather you're using. If it's turned edges, go for something that's more robust. And from the onset, when you buy the bag, when you look at the bag, you're inspecting it, there aren't any splits. I also mentioned the same splits when I was talking about the Salvatore Ferragamo bags, generally giving my general overview. And I did notice that. That's just something that I think at premium core should not be an issue. It's something that I've also noticed from another brand, which I'm going to talk about in its own video, talking about the entire brand, but also highlighting this bit where leather splits, because to me that's a big no-no. The second brand within Premium Core is a brand that is exemplary. When it comes to the craftsmanship, the quality of the bags, it's a phenomenal brand. I've spoken about it a few times. It's Velextra. All their bags within the range have the same edge coating, and I'm focusing just on the Brera. I'm going to be talking about the Brera in a later video, comparing it to the Louis Vuitton Capucine, because they are very similar in terms of their styles. But the Brera is offering a lot more value for your money, especially in comparison to the Capucine, and it's double the price, the Capucine. So I'll talk about that in more detail. Do subscribe so you don't miss out on that video. But Velextra, when it comes to edge coating, it is exemplary like the Acne. It's very thin. They have the coating on top, a shiny coating. That's more an aesthetic thing. And it also further reinforces the coating. But that coating is not going to move. It's done very well. It's thin. It looks shiny because of the lighting from my camera. But it's very thinly applied. It's robust. It's consistent the whole way through. It's hand done, hand painted. You're getting a very good quality product. When you look at the Brera, you look at Velextra bags across the board, the leather, the craftsmanship, you look at the edge coating, for example, you look at the color, how it's been applied to the bag. It's a very, very well-made bag, very well-made products within the brand, which I hope to talk about in more detail in coming videos. But this whole concept of edge coating, I wanted to touch on because it's important. It really plays a big part when it comes to the wear and tear of the bag. And you get different edge coating from different brands, the application, the material that's used. Essentially look for something that's on the thinner side, something that's also has movement, it's rigid, it's soft, but not too soft where you feel it can actually peel, and not too hard so that it can snap, it can crack, it can tear. Something for you to definitely consider when looking at bags. Any other questions, as always, do let me know in the comments down below. But thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.